beef jerky is on the menu. It's been a while since I've done a beef jerky video. And in this one, I'm doing something actually different from what I've done before. We're not going to be smoking it outside. We're going to be using a dehydrator. I just got one not that long ago. So the first thing we need to do is get our marinade ready. We're going to start with 2 cups of soy sauce. To this, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. Next up, 2 teaspoons of ground black pepper. Kind of a coarse grind. 2 teaspoons of granulated garlic. A teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And a controversial ingredient, liquid smoke. Now, if you don't want to use liquid smoke, don't. If you do use liquid smoke, use quality liquid smoke, and it really should only have 2 ingredients, which is a smoke concentrate and water. You can actually make your own liquid smoke. It's a process of capturing it after it comes out of the smokestack using ice and a catcher for the liquid that condenses. I'm not going to do that. I just buy quality liquid smoke. I like Wright's brand. And this is 2 teaspoons of hickory flavored liquid smoke. Give this a mix. That's all there is to it. Let's get our beef out here. What I have here is about a 5-pound eye of round. Now, this has a pretty good amount of fat on it. I am going to trim a little bit of this off first. Generally, I don't like too much fat. And this has been in the freezer for about an hour just to help it firm up a little bit. Kind of helps in the slicing. I could run it through my electric slicer, but that thing is not fun to clean, so we're not going to use that. Some people really like to leave all the fat on. If you like that, go for it. I like to remove some. Now to slice this, I am using my brisket slicing knife because it's very thin. I'm going for slices that are between 1/8 and 1/4 inch. Let me just square off this end first. Just like that. That's about the size I want. And it's just going to go in my marinating container as it comes off here. I know a lot of you are saying, why don't you just smoke it outside? Well, right now, as has been going on for the last couple of months, my grill area outside is undergoing some modifications. So hopefully in the next month or so, I'll be back out there full time. Well, not full time. I like cooking in the kitchen too, but you know what I mean. I can get out there and use all my grills easily. Right now, it would not be easy to get to them. I like using eye of round or top round. Top round is generally sold as London broil. Really, you can use just about any cut you want for beef jerky. I've used brisket, I've used chuck roast, I've used ribeye, I've used sirloin tip, I've used tri-tip. So I have my eye of round sliced up in here. We're going to go ahead and add our marinade and just mix it up. I like to get down in here with hands and gloves on, it's easy. Want to really kind of press these pieces down in there, make sure that marinade touches everybody. And this is going to marinate overnight in the refrigerator. I'm going to cover it. And then probably, maybe before I go to bed tonight, I'll mix it up again. And then tomorrow, before we get it in the dehydrator, we'll take it out and pat it dry. Because when you go in the dehydrator, especially a dehydrator, not say a smoker outside or even the oven, you really want to start with it dry. So you want to get the excess marinade off. That will make the drying time a lot more manageable. All right, I'm going to get the lid on this, get it in the refrigerator, and tomorrow I'll see you when we make some beef jerky. All right, our eye of round pieces have been soaking in that marinade overnight. I just drained a bit of it off, and we're going to get some more of that moisture off in just a second, but I just want to cover one thing here. When I make beef jerky, and I've said this in every video I've made, I don't make it for preservation. I actually make it to a point where it's not super dried out. I like to keep it in the refrigerator because that way it stays fresh. In fact, I know people when I make it who take it and put it in the freezer, and then we'll take some pieces out, throw them in the refrigerator, thaw for a little bit, and then eat those. So if you're thinking of making it for long-term storage, you're going to need to use a different method. And I don't use that method. I like my beef jerky to be much fresher than that. So I dry it to a certain amount and then put it in the refrigerator, and it's usually gone within like 3 or 4 days. But now I have my setup here. I've got one of my dehydrator racks and a towel on a tray here. And this is where we're going to start putting our eye of round pieces to start absorbing some of the moisture. We really want to dry these out. Then we'll get them on our rack, and then we'll add another rack, add another rack, add another rack, and get as many as we can in there today. So I just want to start laying these out here. And I did kind of mix these up last night before I went to bed. Gave them a little mix in their marinade. I just want to take a paper towel and hit the top side. Then we just take them and arrange them on these racks. And I might have to do more than one batch. The rest will go back in the refrigerator if we don't fit everything. And that's okay. These are some pretty hefty sized pieces of eye of round we're going to use for this jerky today. Now we just set another rack on top here and repeat the process. You can definitely make your pieces smaller if you want. Thinner. I wouldn't go much thicker than this, but I guess if you want to try, you can. And some of these are a little thinner than others, so they're going to dry a little more quickly. That's okay. Some will be a little more done than the others. Is it 100% necessary to dry these off like this? No, it's not. But if you do, make sure you have a clean towel. But I like to do this on occasion, especially if I'm doing this inside in the oven, or in this case, a dehydrator. It just makes it move more quickly. Jerky smells good already. Now, if you ask me, do I prefer to do it outside on the smoker? Yeah, I do. You get that sort of natural smoke flavor, but you know what? Not everybody can do that. You don't always have the time or the weather or the equipment. And I've done many videos making jerky inside, in the oven, even in the air fryer. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And this is one option. So here are our racked pieces of eye of round. I keep trying to not call them jerky. They are not jerky yet. They will be jerky. We're going to go ahead and get them into the dehydrator over there. Now I'm going to set my temperature for 160 degrees. Recommended for safety is 165, but you have to make that choice of how high you want the temp to be as you're drying your jerky. Oftentimes I've gone from 150 up to 165. If you're doing it in the oven, sometimes you can't get the temp below 170. Now, I get a lot of comments whenever I do a jerky video where I'm doing the oven or something with a temperature setting where they say, you're just cooking it. Almost every commercially made beef jerky uses a combination of two things, heat and air. That's how you make jerky. We're not in the old West where you just hang it out on a tree or lay it on a rock. This is how you make it now. You got to be safe. If you don't want to be safe, you can make it any way you want, but this is the way I make it. So we're going to get this in the dehydrator at 160 degrees, and it's going to go for probably 6 or 7 hours, but we'll check it about halfway through, say at the 3-hour mark. So we are going. We are in the dehydrator. Like I said, we'll come back in about 3 hours and check it, and it's already smelling great just with that marinade, and it's going to smell progressively better during the day here as that beefy jerky smell gets out here. All right, we've been going for just about 3 hours now. Let's open up the dehydrator and take a look, see how we're coming along. That's starting to look jerky-like, but still very, very soft. Yeah, soft, but coming along really nicely. Let's close this up. We're going to come back probably the 6, maybe the 7-hour mark. Maybe I'll let it go the full time. And it may take longer. You've got to really gauge the jerky on how it is in terms to how you like it. If you like it really dry, it may need to go longer. If you like it like I do with not super dry textures, then maybe that 6-hour mark will work, but we'll see. I'll see you back here in a bit. All right, we are almost to 6 hours. I want to go ahead and check it. I have a feeling it's probably going to be about where I like my jerky to be. If you want it drier, you can keep going, but let's go ahead and check. What I like to do is take a piece and bend it. You see how it's starting to tear? And this is a thicker piece, but it's not snapping. This is about the consistency that I like. Now, if you have a thinner piece like this one and you do that, you can see that that pretty much snaps. So these are ready. Let's get a nice collection of our jerky going on this plate here. Or just look at that. Some of the thin pieces like that, some of the thicker pieces. These are going to be good. And after these all cool down, what I do is put them in a Ziploc bag in the refrigerator, grab some whenever I want some. Now, what did I pay for that eye of round? Well, it was kind of on a special at my local store. It was about $15. So right around $3 a pound. And I didn't pre-weigh anything here. I don't know what this is. I can't really weigh, but I'm guessing we have at least 2.5 pounds, between 2 and 2.5 pounds after drying there. So this is a good deal. And you know exactly what went into it and you can enjoy it. Let's have a taste. Let's just take one of these top pieces here. Rip off some and have a taste. Yes, it's still warm, hasn't cooled down yet, but the flavor on this jerky and the texture is exactly what I was looking for. I cannot say this enough. If you want to make your own jerky, there are a multitude of ways to do it, from a dehydrator to a smoker outside to an oven to an air fryer. Lots of different methods. Give it a try. You will not be disappointed.